Hi. So, I'm laying in bed in Arizona, and I have discovered, been informed in lots of ways that that there might be a child coming in through me now. So that means in 3D terms I might be pregnant. And that just changes everything. It's very different, and I feel super torn about it because I have such strong beliefs about what it is to bring children here. And I know that with the things I believe, I know they work because they're not all my ideas, and I'm getting way, heady right now. Like academic, which is what I do to run away from real emotional lived situations, and this is the most important thing ever. It's the most important thing that you can do, like creating another human, especially once you realize what it is that we are. A fly just came and buzzed in my ear and then flew away. So I guess that means it's time to shift. This is like you can't mess around with this stuff. This you can decide up to a point. You can decide. Well, say for instance with this situation, right? I'm in a relationship which is unlike any other relationship I've ever been in before, ever. And I've been in a lot of relationships, so that's saying something. And it's still new. It's not, we haven't tested each other to see whether or not we would want to embark upon that kind of journey together, but it doesn't seem to matter because I've always known that my parents didn't conceive of any of their 3 children, me or my sister and my brother, in the way that most people are conceived. The joke is, or the myth rather, to me it's a joke, is, oh yeah, you can use at least 2 forms of birth control every single time you get pregnant, and then, which is what happened to my parents. They were married, they were planning on being married for a long time, didn't want to have kids yet because of their religion, and it's a long story. Anyway, at the time. And now they would probably feel different looking back. But we came through anyway. We just came through anyway. There's no way my mom should have been pregnant. She didn't even know she was pregnant with my sister until she was 6 months in, and then she wasn't even showing, and she was a small woman, and then she had my sister full term 3 months later. She started showing that next week. And so I've always known that if the universe wants me to have a child, I've known that it wouldn't necessarily even matter if I had a partner, considering what I know about how the egg jettisons out 50% of genetic material after she's imbued with the sperm. So that means that she has 100% of genetic material to make a new being. That's something that is not often talked about or looked at, or why is that the way it is. You could technically, I guess theoretically, if you train your body, you could have a child without necessarily a man even around. So I always knew that if it were time for me to get pregnant, the universe would make it happen. Also, Tony was abducted like every day. There was a time since we've been traveling together that I was gone for several days, and he was abducted every single day. He remembers, he told me all about it. And then when I got back, he showed me the stars, and I started to see interdimensionally, and I started to see things that made my mind spasm. And I had to actually look away at, and I haven't been able to stargaze since. It's so much of a paradigm break. And then the next day, sorry, there's that fly. The next day is when I think the decision was made by the universe that I'd be pregnant. Although as far as the way that pregnancy works, you guys, it's not that difficult. It shouldn't have happened. Like, it doesn't really make sense for lots of reasons. I won't get too detailed because you know what I mean. But I have noticed some things since I've been pregnant. I was pregnant once before for about 2 weeks, I guess. And And it feels different this time. It feels like just a completely different energy. It's kind of a different species. I think when I was pregnant before, I was with a partner who was definitely a different genetic code. It's not racism. Like, I'm not even talking about racism. I'm talking about etheric spiritual stuff here. Yeah, and guides have been arguing for a while now about having children. For the past several relationships I've been in, I've been urged to have children, and finally they said, "You're never gonna agree to it." They said, I've talked a lot to them the past few days. Said, "You're never gonna agree to it. There's always gonna be something else to wait for. These are your terms. These were my terms. That I am abundant. I wasn't worried about finances because I was raised so poor. I didn't want to put that same trauma onto my child if I could possibly help it. But now I don't really have to worry about finances. I mean, my lifestyle fits the amount of income that I create, so it's okay." And then also I said I want to be traveling all the time. Well, I am traveling constantly right now. I said I wanted to be successful in my work, and I get letters every day from people telling them that my work is benefiting them in their life, so I consider that being successful. And so, to be fair, they have a point when they said your criteria have been met. Now live up to your end of the deal. It does feel like I didn't have any free will in it, though, to be quite honest with you. It feels like it was done to me. But when I think about what I agreed to, let's think about contracts, right? You can forget as you're playing, and then you have to, as you're dancing, and then, what do they say? You have to pay the piper at the end of the night. So that's fine, though, because I know, this is the thing, like, I know that this will be the most amazing experience I've ever had. I'm aware of that, and I can feel this being is going to bring things that haven't been here before, along with his or her. I think it's a her, but now I'm not so sure. His or her brethren that are also coming in. I know of so many amazing women who are pregnant right now. And it's like there's this wave of badass, amazing beings wanting to be born. And maybe I'm not pregnant. Like, maybe I'm not. I mean, like, now people want to know, how late are you? And I'm not that late. I'm not even a week late, but I'm never late, ever. And there have been funny things happening physically. Like, I've been craving lots more food than normal. I usually don't eat very much at all. I've been eating more than Tony. And Tony's half again. He's like 150% of me, and I've been eating more than him. Also, interactions are getting interesting. We do a lot of shadow work together, so we actually trigger each other a lot. And we have to grudgingly respect each other when that's true, because neither one of us can steamroll the other. And so it's perfect person to do shadow work, because usually we can steamroll anyone, whether or not we want to. My life has been spent steamrolling people without meaning to in the physical. Those of you who haven't met me in the physical might not understand that, but I have a history of sizzling people without even meaning to, just bringing through too much intensity and chasing them away. And he does the same thing. So we can handle each other, and it's kind of fun, to be quite honest. Sometimes it's like, oh, we're gonna fight, okay. Like, it's not an actual fight. Usually it's a very calm conversation, but our energy bodies are like fencing, which is funny. Like, you wouldn't think that that would be a trait you would want in a partner, but if there's an aspect of you that does like to go to battle, well, that's just true. Like, it's better to have someone who can match you on that than someone who you hurt when you do it, or someone who hurts you when they do it. Because this can just, and I can pop through and say, well, do you want a piece of chocolate because it's over here and someone's gone, and we can just go back to this debate, or whatever. So that's nice. But today, he had a moment of unconsciousness, which I could feel it in my aura. It hurt me. It didn't get all the way in, though, and that was the funny thing. I could actually stay in a space of being able to say calmly, and really calmly, not manipulative, I'm going to be calm and you're going to go crazy kind of thing that people do and that I've been guilty of before. But I could really say, I can feel the front of my aura sizzling, like when you throw cinnamon on the fire logs right now, and your words are coming to me like weapons, like not what you're saying, but your tone of voice and the energy with which you're speaking to me. So you don't have to do anything about it. I just want you to know. And he told me why he was frustrated, which was a valid reason, and said he didn't know what to do right then. I said, well, maybe you should go meditate, clear your lines, because he was trying to remember something. So the thing you're trying to remember is still in your thing, it's still in your field. If you want to remember it, it can come back in if you clear your lines, because they're clogged with annoyance. But I could say that and be totally off. And then he left, and I didn't feel like bruised, and I realized that in the past I might have kind of been like, okay, well, I'm going to get more hurt than you. And relationships are weird. It makes the weirdest parts of us come out that would never come out in any other kind of connection. And I'm just honest about it and about all the weird things that I've picked up in this lifetime or others. And yeah.